Hi everyone, welcome to our daily vlog, and as we look at the themes in John's Gospel, and we're coming to the last day of looking at the theme of relationships today. We're going to have a break next week where we look at harvest, and then in a week's so's time we're going to be looking at spirituality. So for today, our passage is from John chapter 17, part of the great Jesus prayer that it's been quite central to what we've been looking at over these last 2 weeks. And this passage today is from verses 20 to 26. And I'm not going to read all of it, but a little bit of it is probably some words that you've heard on quite a few occasions, especially if you've ever been to a church service where people have come together across congregations or denominations. It's often read. So I'll just read a couple of verses to you. So from John chapter 17, verse 20. I'm not simply praying for them, says Jesus. I'm praying too for the people who will come to believe in me because of their word. I am praying that they may all be one, just as you, Father, are in me and I am in you, that they too may be in us, so that the world may believe that you sent me. As I say, words that you may have heard before. What does that say to us? Well, the reality is so often, both as Christians and non-Christians, we can all fall out from time to time. We can do so at a personal level. Somebody upsets us, somebody hurts us, somebody wants to go a different way to us. It can be at a community level within a church congregation or within a family. It can also be between churches or between families. I can remember from my childhood there were a family over the road who my family knew dearly, and two twin brothers never spoke for 15 years because of a falling out they had over something very trivial. Broke their mother's heart, who was a dear friend to my mum and to me. So it can happen. It can also happen between nations, and we live in a time where sometimes the bigger nations particularly are sort of defending their own positions rather than perhaps seeing a bigger perspective. And the question, of course, is not that it should all be wonderful and rosy, but for Jesus it was, and then what? And this is where his words to us are really quite inspirational. In South Africa, at the time of the end of apartheid, along with Nelson Mandela, there was a gentleman called Desmond Tutu, who did a lot of work in trying to bring healing and reconciliation between the majority black community who had suffered and been oppressed at the hands of a small white minority community. And how do you do that? Well, along with Nelson Mandela, they reached out for a bigger vision, not just black or white, but of a rainbow nation. Any of you have seen the film Invictus, but it's not just about a rugby team, it's about how do you do that? And it's difficult and it's messy, and it challenges not just other people's stereotypes and beliefs, it challenges one's own to think about what really matters, not just our defense mechanisms, but behind that, who we really are. And this is where Jesus' words can be so helpful to us, because he talks about him being in the Father and the Father being in him, and longing that we would be in him. And this is the place of the cross. When we're struggling with relationships, whether it be with individuals or with us in a group or us in a church or us in society in general, the real place to begin is by bringing oneself, myself, yourself, to the cross, and realizing that in this place we are accepted, broken, flawed, that we are, and there we discover that we are profoundly loved in our brokenness, in our flawed state, not the perfect person that we would like to believe we were, or the self-righteous person that we can often present ourselves as, but as the humble little person that deep down, even the biggest and boldest of our politicians or whoever actually is, behind the mask. And there we find not then judgment, but life. And that life can inspire us maybe to to cut somebody else a little bit more slack. It can inspire us to see it from their point of view. It can inspire us to think of the other person's point of view or perspective, especially if that's a minority perspective. And however things work out, whether actually we can bring about healing or not, to be able to at least to see the other person not in anger but in compassion, or if not in compassion, then in acceptance that God loves them, even if we find it hard to because of what they've done to us over the years. It's a hard and messy business, but this is the business of relationship, and it's the business of real costly love, and it's the business Jesus is in, not just 2,000 years ago, but each and every day today. So as we close this section, we give thanks for the cross, right in the heart of all broken relationships and all hurts, and may he be able to one day and fully bring healing. God bless everyone.